Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. You are most welcome to today's edition of your program Stories of Devotion. I am your host, Ustaz Abdul Kader bin Ahmed. To share his stories with us, we have one missionary from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission who is currently serving as the missionary for Nkranza Circuit here in the Bonahafo region. He was born to a Christian mother and then a pagan father. He got converted into the fold of Islam Ahmadiyyat in 1972 and has been, he's not a missionary actually, he has dedicated his life for the service of Islam Ahmadiyyat. My guest is Ustaz Malik Nasir Addae. Ustaz, tell us about you and then also about life at Safi Amiaso.
Okay. Actually, I was born to Openyin Addae, who actually was a pagan, and his wife, my mother, Sakina Tevia, who previously was a Christian. And I get converted into Islam Ahmadiyyat in 1972. That was when I was in elementary school, Form 2. So gradually, after my elementary school, I decided, in actual fact, to devote my life to Islam. So in the first place, I was chosen as an assistant imam of the Jamaat Sefim Framayo.
Okay, but before 1972, when you became an Ahmadi, would you describe yourself then as a pagan or a Christian?
I will describe myself then as a pagan, because at that time I did not belong to any Christian. So it was when I was young and I was staying with my uncle, who was also a Christian and an Anglican, where I used to attend service with him. But when I left, I came to my hometown. Actually, I was not attending any Christian destiny. Okay. You've actually tested both waters. At one stage, yes, you were a pagan, yes, and at another stage you were a Christian. That's
so
before.
You know what it entails. Yes. You know the teachings about Christianity. Somehow.
Yes.
So why did you choose to become an Ahmadi Muslim in the first place?
You see, I can say that it was a blessing and an opportunity that I had, because I was staying with my uncle, who was a military officer and at Takoradi. So when I moved from there to my hometown in Framayo, and the town is just populated almost about 80 or 70% are Ahmadis.
That's the Takoradi?
No, in Framayo.
Okay,
yes, when I came to Framayo, that is in Western region. So when I came there, it was an opportunity for me. My father he was a pagan, but his younger brothers, they were Ahmadis.
Okay.
So it was through them that, in actual fact, I became an Ahmadi.
Did you just follow your uncles, or it was you actually understood the message of Islam, and that's why you converted?
No, I actually understood the message, because one of my father's younger brother, he was an Ahmadi. So when I returned from Takoradi to my own hometown, and I was with him, normally he used to preach to me. He knew how to read Chi.
Okay.
So we would sit down with a Bible and we'll be discussing about religion.
Good. I know you actually discussed a lot. You talked about many things, but what particular thing can you remember that he said or that he told you, and then you feel like that is what actually brought you into Ahmadiyya?
That is it. What happened was that when I came and he took me, because we're actually in the same house, so he took me as his son. So normally we'll sit down, and at that time I could speak Hausa language.
Okay.
So he was also interested in learning the language. So I will be teaching him the Hausa language, and he also be teaching me religion. So it was through that I came to realize that no. When I was with my uncle, actually I was a Christian. I came, I don't go to church. Now I'm here in my own hometown where religion Ahmadiyya is. Why not also be part of them?
Okay, and so you became...
I became an Ahmadi.
And then you actually understood and realized that Ahmadiyya was the true...
Well, the true religion.
The true religion.
That is it.
Why did you eventually have to... why did you eventually decide to dedicate your life for the service of this?
Okay. So after my elementary education, actually I stayed... I started selling chemical drugs, that is druggist. Okay. I was a druggist. I had even a drugstore at that time. That was around within 1980s.
Okay, that was for you yourself, right?
For me, myself.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So gradually we started, the Jamaat, we started preaching. We started a preaching program. And that time, the missionary that was there was Osofo Abdul Wahid bin Dawood. He was the second missionary at Sefibekwai. And actually, I became part of him in the sense that I used to go to him, and he also would be teaching me the Quran, the Zana Quran and the Quran. So gradually, I became interested in preaching. So we started preaching at Sefi in Framayo. That was around early 80s. Okay. So gradually we preach all up to Osekojo, Boda, and so on. So in the process of the preaching, I became interested. Then why not dedicate my life for the service of God and become a missionary? Okay. So that was the reason why it was through the preaching programs that actually encouraged me to dedicate my life for Islam.
But then, what was the need to dedicate your life? No, when you had a drugstore, you were working, you were earning. Yes, so, what was the need to dedicate your life for the service of?
You see, I came to read through Islam Ahmadiyya. I came to realize that the purpose of man creation was to serve God. That was why, when I got to know that the purpose of man creation was to serve God, then I decided that why not dedicate my whole life for God? So that was the reason why, and there is no way of serving God better than becoming a missionary. So that was the reason why I decided to become a missionary, so that I could fully dedicate my full life for the service of God. When
you were making this decision, were you married?
Okay, before becoming a missionary, I was married by then.
Yeah, when you made that decision, when you were contemplating, when you actually made a decision that you now want to become a missionary, were you married then?
I was married then.
You're married. Yes. Well, did it ever occur to you that as a married man, being the breadwinner for your family, living there and then going to study for 3 good years, and then the fact that even after you graduate to become a missionary, as people have been saying, the missionary work is not that lucrative. You don't become rich. Were you not disturbed that you were living and then leaving your children behind?
Actually, I was not disturbed because I had the support of the Jamaat itself, from our Jamaat. They supported me a lot, and a junior brother of my father, Mr. Ibrahim Ejapon, and his brothers, they decided to support me fully, look after my family when I am in school. And that was what they did. For the whole 3 years, Mr. Ibrahim Ejapon, Jamaat Ahmadiyya in Framayo, supported my family at my absence when I was in school for the whole 3 years. So I did not have any feeling, or I did not feel any distance because I had that support.
Okay, but then prior to this, what was your dream to be? What did you want to become in future prior to this decision?
To become you see, what happened was that after my schooling, I could not get a chance of going into secondary school. So I decided that if I couldn't get the secular knowledge, then I should look for the worldly destiny. So that was the reason why I started business.
Okay, so you wanted to be a businessman.
That is it, to become a businessman.
Okay.
But later, when I realized that the true purpose of man's creation through Islam Ahmadiyyat is to serve Almighty God, I decided to change my career. Instead of becoming a business person, then why not serve Almighty Allah and dedicate my life for?
Well, but were you also aware that it wasn't going to be that easy to serve, to become a missionary and then serve Allah Almighty? It entailed a lot. It entailed the fact that you had to leave, you had to forgo the world entirely. The fact that as a leader, because you have to be a role model, your life will have to be as straight as possible. And I mean that is not an easy task at all. Were you also aware of the fact that when you become a missionary, you were going to encounter a lot of trials and challenges? Were you aware when you were making this decision?
I was aware. Because as I said that at that time, the circuit missionary for Sefi Circuit was Osofo Abdul Wahid bin Dawood, late Osofo Abdul Wahid, may his soul rest in peace. He was then the circuit missionary. And in fact, a senior missionary, because we knew that he also was part of Jamia International, that is Rabwa. He went to Rabwa.
Okay. That is Muslim missionary school, the missionary school at Rabwa,
that
Pakistan.
That is it, Pakistan. So in actual fact, he was a senior missionary.
Yes.
So with him, he was at Bekwai, and I was always closer to him. He will invite me to his place, even during Juma time, so on and so forth. He will be sending me to other places.
Okay, therefore you understood.
I understood because I realized his condition, and I knew his condition, his situation at that particular time.
You wanted to be like him.
Yes. You were surprised to hear that even for the first time that I wrote my letter to the Missionary Training College and I handed it over to him. We're then holding regional conference at Kumasi.
Okay.
So when I gave the letter to him, actually he was happy. He was happy. But he asked me, Nasir, why not consult me first? Because I've already told him I would like to attend Missionary Training College. He was aware. But when I was about to write the letter, I did not inform him. Aware. So I gave it to him in a surprise manner. So in actual fact, he told me, okay, you already know my situation. You know the missionary, though it is not bad.
Yes.
And I've been explaining about the situation of as a missionary. When you become a missionary,
yes,
that is your reward and your position, yes, in the sight of Allah. And so that is it. Yes. So although you did not inform me before writing the letter, but all the same, it is good that you have written the letter. Okay. So in a nutshell, before choosing to become a missionary, I already know the situation as an Ahmadi missionary. That is it. And I knew that even that is the best. Because no matter what wealth I acquire in this world, at the end, I will leave the wealth there. And that will be for me and my Allah. Then why not choose Allah in the first place? So that was the reason why.
Alhamdulillah. So eventually you got your admission into the missionary school, yes, and then you graduated. And where was your first posting? My
first place that I was posted is Mpoho Wasa East. Okay. That is the Dabwasi area.
Okay, in the western region.
In the western region.
I mean, then you didn't have any challenges in terms of language, tradition, and then because that was your area. You are from western region. Mm-hmm. Okay, how many years have you served so far?
So far, I've served for almost 26 years. 26 years. Yes.
Okay, now let's combine them. We don't have much time, so we can't go into details into all the various circuits that you have gone to. But in general, have you ever faced any challenge, in your life as a missionary that almost wavered your conviction, and you went like, if I had known that I'll actually encounter such a problem, I wouldn't have chosen this field? Have you ever? In actual fact, as a missionary, and as we have been posted to so many places, villages and so many places, for challenges and for even difficulties, we are unfacing. But still, we don't take them as a problem, as anything, a hindrance to our way not to become a successful missionary. No, we don't take it as a hindrance. Rather, we take it as a blessing.
we take it as a blessing. For me, I take it as a blessing. So anywhere I go, no matter what challenges that I face, I don't take it as something that should hinder me from my work as a missionary. I actually take it as a blessing. So we face so many challenges, but because I don't take them as something as difficulties or challenges that should block my way, I don't consider, even at times, I don't think even about it. Yes, because I prefer becoming a missionary, and that is what I know that when I die, that will be most beneficial thing to me.
I would really have wished to know some of the challenges that you have gone through. You don't call them challenges, but then some of the difficulties that that you've ever encountered. If there's time, you just chip in some.
I could remember I went on Tarbiyat at Awami district, that's at Enchi, and I have to visit a Jamaat member. The village that I visited, unfortunately, the chief has passed away. And the person that I was going to was not there, and I didn't know. Mm-hmm. So I have to pass the night there. I stayed there. It was around 8 o'clock
p.m.
And where they gave me a place to sleep was the chief palace.
Okay.
It was around 8 o'clock that I realized that I cannot see the person. So I took buta something to perform ablution and say my salat. So it was when somebody realized that I was praying, he got to know that I've come to look for
that man.
That guy. Yes. So he came closer to me and informed me that the guy is not there. But unfortunately, the chief has passed away. So if you don't move from here this midnight, something may happen to you.
Because, I mean, they have a tradition that whenever a chief dies, they do human sacrifices.
That is it. That is it. And
so as a stranger, it was easy for them to take you.
That is it. It was there. So I have to walk almost about 12 miles.
That night?
That night.
That was scary.
Yes. And on the way, a pickup, a mining company pickup, came on my way. I stopped. He picked me to the other village that I was going. So, but I know even if I have died, stayed there and died, Alhamdulillah, I may prefer even if it has happened that way. Though it is not good that way, but at least.
But you would have died in the course of doing the work
seven. That is it.
That
is it.
And Allah actually protected you miraculously. Allah saved you because he still wanted you to continue doing his work.
That is it.
Alhamdulillah. I have read your biography somewhere, and I know that you haven't only worked here in Ghana.
Yes,
which country have you worked?
Okay.
As a missionary?
Alhamdulillah, in 2013, 2003, that is, I received a letter to be posted to Solomon Islands in the Pacific Islands.
In the Pacific.
Yes, there's some few hours flight to 1 hour 30 minutes flight to Australia. Just closer to Australia.
Okay.
So
now I know you've already said that whenever you encounter any challenge, any difficulty, you don't consider them because you take it as part of your work, and it is normal. You're able to cross whatever hurdle that comes your way in your missionary field. But now you are not staying in Ghana here no more. Okay. You've been posted to all the way Pacifics. Now language was going to be a problem. Their culture was different. Even feeding, all of this was going to be a problem, a very big challenge. Let me say, in my own terms, it was going to be a very big challenge for you. When you received your letter that you have been posted to the Pacific, what was the first thing that came into your mind? Knowing all this.
You see, what came into my mind was that right from the very beginning, I was born in a village, brought up in a city, came back to my village. So I know both village and town life. So no matter where I go, I know that I have to cope with the people, with the situation, and with the environment. That is it. So I had opportunity for late Hafiz Sabo. he tried to explain.
Hafiz Ahmed Jibril Said.
Yes,
That is the
Hafiz Ahmed number bill 3.
Okay.
That is it. So he explained the place, the situation,
there.
everything, and told me, Malik, where you are going is just like Ghana. Though the people are different, their language and their destiny, they are different, but they speak English.
Okay.
They speak English. Though they have pidgin English, but when you speak simple English, as some of us do, they do understand.
Okay, I'm not cutting you. Hafiz Jibril Said actually described the situation of the place to you. Now you have gotten to the country. They have taken you to where, the very town that you are going to stay and serve. Now describe that place for us. When the day you got to the town where you are going to stay and serve. Now describe the people and then the area. I mean, in terms of your work, describe them for us to see.
Okay, before you see my flight. Actually, before getting to Solomon Island, my flight, I went to Fiji.
Okay.
And fortunately for me, I meet Ustaz Jamaldin Johnson, Jamaldin
Donko.
Donko, rather,
yes.
Jamaldin Donko, rather, and Wahab Anderson.
Okay, so
yes,
Wahab Anderson.
Yes. So I met them there. I stayed with them almost a week. There,
in Fiji Islands.
In Fiji Islands. So we're there to. They were able to explain the situation, the nature of the people there. So when I got to Solomon, it was not anything difficult. Okay. I was at Honiara, the city, and I have a fine mission house, a very nice mission house. And there were some of the members who were staying there. I went and met a Malaysian missionary who was there. And so he stayed with me. We were there for almost 5 months before he left for Australia.
Now describe the strength of your Ahmadi Jamaat there.
You see, when I went first and I first asked the number of the members there, he told me, you see, there are people converted since early 80s by Hafiz Ahmed Jibril Said, late, yes. And later, this Malaysian missionary, 2003, he was sent there. But before going, I did not go. My letter came in 2003, but in actual fact, I left in 2005.
Okay.
Yes, I left in 2005. So when I went and met the Malaysian missionary, and I asked him the numerical strength of the members there, and I realized that at least the members there were not more than 10.
You're not more than 10.
At that
okay, now in percentage wise,
yes.
Consider the area that you're going to take care
yes.
of, the population in respect to the Ahmadis that you're going to take care of. How will you rate the percentage? The Ahmadis will be how many percentage out of the total
population? I may take it will it be even 1%? Okay, because yes.
Let's take it for the sake of my program. Let's take it 1%. Now the remaining 99%. What was the predominant faith among them?
They were Christians, totally almost. In Solomon, almost about 90% Christians.
Okay, but where you were going to work,
yes.
Were there non-Ahmadi communities?
There were non-Ahmadi communities also there. Yes, they were
now,
also
what
there.
I want to know is describe your relationship with them, the Christian community and then the non-Ahmadi community. What was your relation with them? Did any of these groups, pose any opposition to you in the course of your work as a missionary?
You see, when I was there, I knew these people, and I heard about them when I was in Fiji. So in actual fact, I decided that in order not to create any obstacle or problem for myself, if they do not approach us, we will not approach them in the first place.
You all be doing
yes, and I have to depend upon my Jamaat and the Christian community, because I knew them at Fiji to be some people altogether. You see,
we will come to your success story, but then, what will you describe as your most challenging moment? I still want to restrict you to, doing your work as a missionary, that's tabligh and tarbiyat, winning converts, and then impacting moral training. In the course of doing this work, what will be the most challenging moment there in that country? In that country,
the most challenging moment will be to have to travel on sea, and at times some on ship, and at times on boat. For hours, you see, and in actual fact, it was very challenging for some of us because we were not born to live on the sea when we were in Ghana. So that was our first time. Though when I was in Mpawasa East, I had a Jamaat. That is on Pra.
Okay.
That I used to cross the Pra River. But that was a small distance.
Okay.
But when the whole Solomon was almost...
It's an island.
It's an island.
Someone who actually fear the sea, fear water.
Fear the sea,
because
fear water.
Because of the way you had to be crossing
up and down
to just deliver the message.
You see, as I've been saying that it was my intention to dedicate my life to God. So anywhere, any moment, any time, no matter what comes on my way.
It was part of the job.
But it was part of the job.
And so, indeed, you did it. I'm not cutting you, forgive me, but I don't really have much time. And I know your stories are, you have a lot of things to tell us, so I will have to let you go. So I have to let you actually go to the other areas. Now, the time that you were leaving, you went to meet about not more than 10 members in Solomon Island. By the time that you were leaving, how will you describe the strength of the community?
Yes, I could boast myself that at least within that, by the grace of God, we had a convent of almost about more than 50.
Alhamdulillah, that's not an achievement at all. Yes. How many years did you spend there?
I spent 3 years.
In the span of 3 years, you had all this converts.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Now, when did you come back to Ghana?
I came back to Ghana. That was in... I went in 2005 and I came in 2008. That was when Ghana was to have its Ahmadiyya centenary. So that was where I requested. I wrote to Amir Saib, Australia, to Huzul, that if they could give me the opportunity to come on leave to see my family and also to be part of the centenary in Ghana. So that was where, and I requested if I should return back, then they should permit me to let my family to accompany me. And that was where I came back to Ghana. And because I have 2 separate families, it was not possible at least.
To send them
that is
back
it.
there.
That is it.
Alhamdulillah. Now, I'm not going to ask you about the strength of the strength there. I mean, to compare Ghana Jamaat as you left it and how you came to meet it to where you were. I'm not going to ask you. But then, in your closing remarks, if you have anything to say about that, I will appreciate it anyway. Now, how have you benefited from becoming a missionary? How have you benefited from dedicating your life for the service of Islam Ahmadiyya and for Allah Almighty?
You see, it started before even the missionary field. I was appointed as an acting imam at Sefim Framayo. I became the imam there. So my uncles, my elder brothers, my sisters, my mothers, and all the members, they were my family. And I can boast to myself to say that even up to now, the respect, and it is just because of the faith of Islam Ahmadiyya, that each and every one has for me is different, even up to now. It's different. My father, Ibrahim Ejapon, may God bless him, who has been taking care of me since even before my missionary distance. Even all of them up to now. So I can say that with the work of Almighty Allah, if one dedicates himself for the sake of Allah, it is a whole lot. It's a blessing. Not money, no, but respect, dignity with your people, your own people. At times they say that a prophet does not have honor
in his own
hometown. But at times I try to argue a little on my part. Yes, because my own people, even those who are not Muslims, even now, you see. So I know it was because right from the very beginning, I decided to dedicate my life for God. So it is not money, but Allah has given me something, a whole lot.
Alhamdulillah, Jazakumullah. Your final words for my viewers.
My final what I have to say is that I encourage all the young ones, Ahmadi youth, who are coming, the young ones who are in school and coming out, that at least the missionary work, people have been saying it, but some of us don't see it that way. Yes, so I encourage each and every one that they should be part of this dedication of God. I think that is the best, and that will profit them in this world and in the hereafter.
And that will profit them in this world as well as in the hereafter. Is the final words of my guest, Ustaz Nasir Addae.
Malik Nasir Addae.
Malik Nasir Addae. Ustaz, Jazakumullah. I know how busy you are, and then you have, in spite of your busy schedule, you found time to come and then share your story just to inspire my viewer. Jazakumullah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, viewers, so that brings us to the end of our program today, Stories of Devotion. My guest has been Ustaz Malik Nasir Addae, who is currently the serving missionary for the Nkranza circuit here in the Born Ahafo region of Ghana. His final words, is so much important to me. The fact that he's encouraging all the youth to actually dedicate their life for the service of Islam Ahmadiyya, for the service of Allah Almighty, their Creator, because that is the purpose for which we were created. And then there is no better profession than to do the work as you were created to do. Jazakumullah to him once again, and until we meet again next time, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.